Hi everyone, this is Audrey from Guild Technologies. Today's video is on answering this question that I've been asked pretty often recently. The question is, do you have advice or guidelines for the best practice to move all the files from a physical server to the cloud? I would need to maintain access groups to certain folders. And I'm sure this is the scenario for many businesses who have just started using the Microsoft 365 platform. In the Microsoft 365 platform, there are many capabilities that come with it. You've got the email, you've got OneDrive, Teams, SharePoint, Stream. There are so many applications. Okay, so the answer to this question would be to migrate these files from your file server to Microsoft Teams. Okay, OneDrive is not suitable for this because usually the files in your file share in your physical server is used by multiple users. Multiple users access the same files and they collaborate using the same documents. So for such a scenario, it would be best to use Microsoft Teams as compared to OneDrive. OneDrive would be suitable if the files are tied to an individual, okay? And occasionally the individual needs to share it with someone, then OneDrive is good to use. So I'll cover OneDrive in another video. In today's video, we will focus on Microsoft Teams. So before you migrate files into Teams, you do need to do some planning work, get your Teams design done. Over here, I've got a template that you can use. I will include a link to this template in the description below. So over here, you have to first define all these fields. That's your design work. After you have filled up this template, then you would have a very clear idea on how you can create the teams and channels in Microsoft Teams. Okay, so I would use this video to give you a very brief walkthrough on the technical terms, what are the features, how do the different types of teams function. Okay, and the first column here is team name, and then we've got team type. Okay, for a non-education customer, your Office 365 Microsoft Teams would come with 3 different team types: private, public, and org-wide. So let me jump into Teams and show you what I mean. Okay, so over here you can see 3 different team types: private, public, and org-wide. And you can read what the different types of team will allow. Okay, it's really to control the access of the users to this team. If you want this team to be available to everyone in the organization, things like announcements that can be broadcast to the entire organization, you would want to use the org-wide team type. Okay, public team types are teams that can be searchable and will be known to everyone in the organization and they can join them. Okay, so most of the teams would be private types. Okay, people would need permission before you can join them. So over here, team type, I've got 3 types. Okay, team name, you would have to think of a name that is that makes sense for you. So over here, I've got team A, team B, and the public team types, I've just used an example of events and activities. Maybe in your organization, you have got events and activities that employees are free to join them. So you would want to mark these kind of team types as public. And then you have got to define your team owners and your team members. Okay, there is a differentiation between owners and members. It is good practice to have at least 2 owners. Okay, don't just have 1, have at least 2. You can have more than 2, of course, but it's also not good practice to have too many owners. So over here, back in Teams, what are the differences between owners and members? you would be able to see that over here. Okay, so over here I've got owners and members. So how do you differentiate that? You go to Teams, Settings, and over here you can see the the member permissions. Okay, you can toggle this on or off to give the members the different permissions that you want. Of course, owners would have most of the rights, like creation rights, deletion rights, and the owners will be able to set these settings. All right, so that's the difference between members and owners. So in Team A, I've got A, B as the team owners, C, D, E as the team members. So this entire Team A is made up of A, B, C, D, E. All right. So every team has a general channel. That is by default. Okay, you can't delete that. That is always created by default. So you can see Team A has a general channel. Team B also has a general channel. This events and activities team, it has a general channel, and so does the org wide team. It also has a general channel. So general channels are always created by default. Over here, you can see that I've got a HV supermarket team, and the general channel has been created by default when I created the team. All right. So the next property is channel type. So you can create multiple channels under a single team. All right. And there are two types of channels. One is open channel and another is private channel. So an open channel can be accessed by all members in the team. So over here under Team B, I've got these members, right? F, G, H, I, J, K. So all these people can access the general channel because it's open. You can see that over here. But if I mark it as a private channel, okay, maybe some information or some files you are only granting access to a subset of the people in your team. So over here, the sales channel is a private channel type. So only F and H can access this channel. That's why it's private. So the rest of the people, even though they are members of this team, they cannot see this channel and they cannot access information in this channel. So how do you create a channel like that? Over here, click on the three dots, add channel. So when you create a new channel under a team, you have the option to choose whether it's a standard channel or a private channel. If you click private, it will only be accessible to a subset of people in the team. Okay, so that's the option there. All right, so that's it. You can create multiple channels under a single team, or you can just stick to the general channel if that makes sense. All right, so after you have created your channels, then you would come to the next level, which is the folders that are in the channels. So you can have multiple numbers of folders in a single channel, in a single team. So once you have got this sorted out, these folders would be easy for you. You would know exactly which folders will go into which team and channel. Okay, so after you have sorted this out, then you would be able to migrate the files from your file server into these folders here. Okay, so over here I've got three notes. Channel type, open means that this open here, open means that it's open to the people in the general channel of the team. Okay, it doesn't mean that it's open to everyone in the organization. That's the differentiation here. So the best practice would be to create more channels when you need them. Okay, it is good practice to limit the number of teams. So if there is another committee or department or project that requires another space, we should see if there's a way to make it a channel and fit it into an existing team. Okay, you want to keep the number of teams pretty fixed. So in the last column here, displayed what is going to be shown on the file explorer of a user's computer if you sync these folders to the user's computer. Let me jump back into my Teams. So over here, I've got my files. You can see that I've got 2 sample documents here, and I've got a sync button here. All right. So if I want to access this view on my file explorer, so this is my file explorer here. This file explorer view is very familiar to end users. End users would find this view very friendly, and so you may want to sync the folders and files that are in your teams. Okay, this view may not be too friendly. You may want to sync these files into a view here. Okay, so take notice here, under Guild Technologies, I've got these 2 folders currently synced to my file explorer. So if I were to sync this, it will get synced to here. Okay, so this is the one that I have just synced. So it's called Contoso because I have renamed it to HV Supermarket. So it hasn't yet taken effect, the rename. But if I go in, you can see that the documents are exactly the same as what I have in Teams. Okay, so any changes that the users make here, it will be reflected on the cloud. And whatever you have synced onto the File Explorer, you can easily unsync it by going to your OneDrive and going into Settings. Okay, it's just a minute. And then from there, you have to just click on Stop Sync. Okay, and then you can delete it here, and that's it. It will stop sync and it won't show up here. That's when your project ends. You don't need to keep going back to that folder, and it keeps your view very clean over here. All right, so that's what I mean by this last column here, what is displayed on the user's File Explorer. So if you have this structure, Team A, General, Channel, it's going to show like that, Team A, General. If it's Team B, Private, Team B, Sales, okay, over here it's actually going to show like this. Okay, because it's a private channel, it's going to show like this. Is a duplicated name. So at the moment, there's no fix for this. It will show as 2 duplicated names because it's a private channel. Okay. If it's an open channel, it will just show as a single name over here. All right. So that's it. Thank you.